I first saw you, I closed my eyes and a flashback stared, I'm standing there on a balcony in summer air. I see the lights, see the party, the balkans, see you mark your way through a crowd and cry hello. Little did I know that you were Romeo, you were throwing pebbles, and my father cried by the waffy Juliet, and I was greeting on a staircase, begging you did not go. And I cried, Romeo, take me somewhere we can be alone. I'll be waiting, others left the day's ring. You'll be a prince and I'll be a princess. It's a love story, baby, just say yes. Say I sneak out to the garden to see you. We keep quiet, cause we're dead if they can. Say close your eyes, escape this tune for a little while. Cause you were Romeo, I was a scarlet letter, and my father cried by the waffy Juliet. But you were everything to me, I was begging you did not go. And I cried, Romeo, take me somewhere we can be alone. I'll be waiting, others left a day's ring. You'll be a prince and I'll be a princess. It's a love story, baby, just say yes. Romeo, save me, they're trying to tell me who to feel. This love is difficult, but it's a real. Don't be feared, we'll make it to this mess. It's a love story, baby, just say yes. My faith in you is fading. Then I met you on the outskirts of town, and I cried, Romeo, save me. I've been feeling sailing. I'm waiting for you, but you never came. Is this in my head? I can't wait to think. He stooped to the ground and pulled out a ring and cried, marry me, Juliet, you'll never hate to be alone. I love you, and that's all I really care. Us back to your dark and pink out a fire dress. It's a love story, baby, just say yes. Oh, 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 oh. 'Cause we were both young when I first saw you.
Good evening. Welcome to our 5th Scots Language Awards. And for the very first time, we're gathered together here in Johnston.
Hi Abdi, my name's Taylor and it's my first Scots Language Awards and I'm so excited for Ahin ahead of us tonight. Is it anyone else's first time? Give us a wee cheer.
That's not bad, actually. Wha's been here since the start of 2019 back in Glasgow? About 4 of us. Me and Frieda, I can't mean you were there, were we? Aye, well, there's a couple of us. We can meet up in the interval and talk about the old days.
Right, it's awfully important.
Oh, yeah, it is. So, before we get started, we should hear a wee think about where Scots is came fae. Because, of course, Scots came to Scotland in about 600 AD when the Anglo-Saxons came over from Schleswig-Holstein. Most folk around here are speaking Pictish, eh?
Hey, could you just hold your horses there a minute, because this isn't a history lesson. We're here to celebrate the present, Scots that are thriving, the dialects, and that's what we're here to celebrate.
Absolutely.
We've got a bra evening ahead for yous, a performance and awards, and we've already heard a wee bit for the Iona 5 trio. How class were they? So let's get the trio back again to give us a couple of tunes, then the Lord Provost is going to get us started.
Please welcome back the Iona 5 trio.
For that introduction, Ali and Taylor. So as you can see, I'm joined here by Ewan McLaughlin on the MacBook. Joking. You're going to hear a wee bit more of Ewan and his brother Lewis later on. They're going to be sat over there playing a wee bit of guitar and the MacBook. And over here this is Finlay Johnson. Faye Johnson. No, he's not Faye Johnson. He's Faye Fife. But we'll not hold that against him. So, that was a wee, give him a wee round of applause. Abdi Kane's that I love Taylor Swift. And Abdi Kane's that I love Scots. So I thought I'd just, indulge myself with a wee bit of Taylor. But, not a good day for Aberdeen today, so I thought I'd sing a wee bit of the Northern Lights for you. And I was a lad, a tiny wee lad. My mother said to me, "Come see the northern lights, my child. Here bright as they can be." She called them the heavenly dancers, merry dancers in the sky. I'll never forget that wonderful sight. They made the heavens bright. The northern lights of old Aberdeen mean home, sweet home to me. The northern lights of Aberdeen are what I long to see. I've been a wanderer all of my life, and many's the sights I've seen. Godspeed today when I'm on my way to my home in Aberdeen. I've wandered in many's the far off lands, and travelled many's the miles. I've missed a folk I cherished the most, the joy of a friendly smile. It warms up the heart of the wanderer, the clasp of a welcoming hand to greet me when I return home to my native land. The northern lights of old Aberdeen mean home, sweet home to me. The northern lights of Aberdeen are what I long to see. Aberdeen, the northern lights of old Aberdeen mean home, sweet home to me. The northern lights of Aberdeen are what I long to see. I've been a wanderer all of my life, and money's the set I've seen. Godspeed a day when I'm on my way to my home in Aberdeen. Godspeed a day when I'm on my way to my home in Aberdeen.
Oh, now we're going to hear from the Provost, Lorraine Cameron. Give a warm welcome.
Thank you. I don't have a long speech, but what I have to say I'm going to deliver in my Scots. The language that I spoke before it was literally knocked out of us. So I think the main message I want to say tonight is that don't judge anyone by their accent. An accent or the way they speak is absolutely no indication of their level of intellect. So ladies and gentlemen, honoured guests and fellow lovers of language, we a braw hair and a wide grin, I stand afore you the day to gie a right warm Johnston welcome to the prestigious Scots Language Awards. This is a grand occasion, a celebration not just of the bonny Scots Lead, but of the rich culture and heritage it brings to our community. So welcome, all of you. So Johnston's a town steeped in history and kent for its creative spirit, and it's the perfect backdrop for an event that celebrates the brawness and significance of the Scots Lead. And as we gather the day, we're standing in a place that has nurtured poets, grievers and artists who have all been deeply influenced by the Scots Lead. It's nae mair than right that we come together to honour the Lead that's lent its dulcet tones to their creative works. And the Scots Language Awards are not just a flitting event. They're a celebration of identity, a tip of the hat to the long-standing Lead that's held its ain over many a generation. And this occasion gives us the chance to give that wee nod to the tireless efforts of individuals, groups and communities that have carried the banner of the Scots Lead, making sure it thrives in the modern world. From educators and linguists to storytellers and performers, nominees and winners here tonight. We don't know who they are yet, but we'll find out soon. It weaves a unique strand in the colourful fabric of the Scots. So as we bask in the festivities, let's take a minute to think on the importance of Leads in our lives. Leads are not just tools for speaking. They're the keepers of culture, the vessels of history, and the channels for emotions. The Scots Lead, with its musical nuances and its distinct vocabulary, weaves a tale all its own, telling the stories of generations that have called this land their home. It's a Lead that's changed through the years, adapting to the shifting times while holding on to its essence, much like the tune of Johnston itself. So as we come together to celebrate the Scots Language Awards, let's also celebrate the dowering spirit of the Scots Lead and the remarkable folk who keep its flame burning. Let's take the rich blend of Leads that make the life more colourful and connect us all as a global community, and let's keep up the support for the growth and the preservation leads like Scots, making sure they keep inspiring, connecting and defining us all. So to the nominees, participants and attendees, I give a hearty Johnson welcome. I hope this night will be one of friendship, inspiration and an abundance of celebration of the Bonnie Scots lead. So thank you all and enjoy the revels. Thank you.
Thanks say muckle for that welcome. The Provost A. Johnson there. Inspiring words and inspiring fae Iona Fife performing at the top there. Now, are we ready to get on to our first award? Absolutely.
This year we've literally had hundreds and hundreds of nominations over the dozens of categories. Then thousands and thousands of public votes to decide our winners. So to even make the shortlist of the final nominees is an amazing achievement.
Our first award is Scots Project O' the Year. The nominees for an awfully competitive category. The first in a trad time with TMSA on KCR FM. Or, hold on, Aberdeen, I'm going to ignore this scene, right, hold on. Aberdeen Student Show, Titanic. Hi. Future Scots Symposium, Our Vice for Glasgow Uni. Historic Scotland's Jarlshof. The Lure the Lead podcast. Slow down, hold on. Mearns Writers Doric Language Project. Moat Bray Centre for Children's Literature in Dumfries. The Scottish National Portrait Gallery for James's People display in Scots. The Speaking Weird events in Aberdeen by the Aberdeen Writers. The Linen Hall in Belfast. The traditional singing weekend at Killarney and... Hold on, I'm doing that in again. The traditional singing weekend at Killarney. And ends and last, trad time with TMSA on Keith Community Radio FM. Let's hear it for all the projects. And now to let us ken the winner of our first award, please welcome for the Scots Language Centre, Laura Green.
Thank you. It's so good to be here tonight and so interesting to hear Provost Lorraine Cameron's speech there. A lot of it struck with my own heart about Scots and about how it's not just about the words that we use to express ourselves, whether that be in speech or in writing, but it's about connections, isn't it? Connections with our identity, with our culture, with our faith, our community, our mothers, our fathers, our Auntie Moiras. And it also struck me about how she was saying about how it was literally knocked out of her when she was away. Glad to say that that's not happening anymore. In fact, just yesterday, I was in a primary school in Glasgow where primary twos and primary one wains were there with their grown-ups, so with their mothers, their fathers, their grannies, their granddads, their Auntie Moiras. The grannies, unfortunately, were shoved off buses by the end of the session. But you could see the memories being made, the connections being strengthened. It was guy-brought to see. And so that's why it's so exciting to be presenting this award, because it's projects like this that help us celebrate our lead. And so the winner is Scots Project of the Year is Titanic.
Let's hear it for Titanic. And the winners can't be here. The winners, the representatives of Titanic, can't be all the way down the road for Aberdeen, but they sent us a video, so let's hear that now.
Hello everyone. So sorry we can't be with you tonight, but I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who nominated and voted Aberdeen Student Show as Project of the Year 2023. In April, Aberdeen Student Show put on the production of Titanic and raised just over £125,000 for 50 local charities in and around Aberdeen. This award means so much to the cast as well as everyone behind the scenes. Events like this don't just happen, and I'd like to say a few special thank yous. First of all, to the production team and administration team for all their support this year, as well as the script team and our script editors, Michelle Bruce and Shane Strachan, for all their support and wonderful writing. Again, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has been involved, and I hope you have a lovely evening. Thank you.
So, nae hanging about. Let's get to our next award. Scots Baron's Book of the Year, sponsored by the Scottish Government. The nominees are Good Morning and Good Nicht, translated by Matthew Mackey, Tippermuir Books. Jocks Donder Run Money Musk by P1, 2 and 3 at Money Musk Primary Schools, Doric Books. The Louth Treasury of Scottish Nursery Rhymes, introduced and edited by Alistair Hutton. And Stick Manny, translated by James Robertson with Etchiku and Black and White Publishing.
And to present the award, please welcome back to the stage Provost Lorraine Cameron.
Oscars.
This is better than the
There's
Oscars.
even a gold envelope. Look at this. Okay, so I get to open this. I feel really, really, really privileged to announce the winner of the Scots Bairns Book of the Year. And the Scots Bairns Book of the Year 2023 is Good Morning and Good Nicht by Matthew Mackey.
Hey, let's hear it for him.
Is Matthew here?
I didn't write a speech because I didn't expect to be standing here, but Good Morning, Good Nicht, if you're not familiar with it. It's a celebration of Scots language, but it's a celebration of the rich diversity of modern Scotland. So I'd commend it to you. If you haven't seen it, I'd commend it to you. I need to thank a few folk. Paul Philippou and Rob Hans. Paul's the driving force behind Tippermuir Books and put us in touch with this project. But my wife Emma, who's here as well and supported with Scots translation. But thank you. If you voted for it, thank you. If you're not familiar with it, check it out. It's an important addition to Scots Books for Bairns, I think. And I didn't write it, I translated it, so I'm putting it in that term. So thanks, everybody. Thank
Let's
you.
hear it from Matthew. Good stuff, good stuff. That's our first twa awards already. Is it not awfully exciting to see where Abdi's coming for that's being nominated? We have nominations for Aberdeen, we have nominees for Glasgow, we have nominees for Belfast, Dumfries, all over the Central Belt. Abdi's starting to sing together in a voice, but in hundreds of different dialects. Really exciting.
Now, was keen for a performance by a local legend. Please welcome the official Renfrewshire marker himself, Sean Moore.
Local legend, I'll take that. Thank you. Thank you. My Tanner Hill tartan trousers. So remembering our bard, our Tanner Hill Macca. And we're remembering the Moiras as well. Remember the anti-Moiras got a mention? Alan Bissett, on the Moiras. Your words they come from within, internal, personal, honest and true. Your words they come from your nature and your nurture. They're part and parcel of you. Your words are your gut instinct, your raw emotions, your deliberations and informed opinions, your own private thoughts being publicly aired, your heart laid out bare and your naked soul shared. And are given sound by your flesh and muscle, instinctive ideas, organic and real, a body's expression of pain or pleasure. Your words are just how you feel. And you can call pronunciation received, but I will cry it imposed. Aspirations and affectations prescribed and proscribed by those and such as those. Your voice is no a thing to be bred out of you, to be controlled, conformed or denied, speech drummed into or hammered out of, your core being culturally colonised. Your words are yours. Your words are you. Your words are where you came from and are where you're going to. Your words are in your genes, it's your heritage, familial and communal, your social heirlooms, inner identity, innate, uttered in utero, souvenirs and songs for the womb. It's homespun wisdom that's been passed down, cradle comforting, hearth-warming soons, for your mammy, for your granny, for your nonna, for your par-nanny, for your babcia, for your shinaway. It's your mother tongue, wherever you're fae. Thanks. Thanks. There's great to see a few of other local legends or local elected representatives. There's quite a few of the councillors here. And genuinely, in times of cuts and stuff everywhere, these guys are still promoting and supporting the arts and culture in a big way in Renfrewshire. And thanks. And I'm going to refer, never mind the Scots lead, I'm going to refer to the Oxford English Dictionary for a wee minute to think about culture. Uncover the roots. Discover the root of a word, culture. That which is encouraged to live and grow. So take time to nurture a renewed culture. Take our tune and till its tired soil. Recultivate our community using all the tools at our disposal. Plough through the well-worn ruts, this tired, weary brownfield site, till the old set furrows get broken up and cut. Let it absorb vitality, warmth and light. And feed, mixing together and working in what's buried deep under dirt and dust, and enhancing, enriching with nutrients, all bones, fresh blood. In preparation for cultivation of dormant seeds that have been here, aye, waiting, secrets locked in suspended animation, left aside in the dark, but waiting, tight-hodding ideas for germination. Till a flashy illumination starts carting of cultivation, bursting out in an awakening spree, as guide sheltered space and strong support, like every small shoot should be, and is afforded room to spread, allowed to outgrow the twine, is untied, unbound, is able to stretch out in its own good time. No fixed to fit frameworks, no straight, rigid, linear training, but free to roam and wander, seeking optimal enlightening, while ever drawn for roots up through its core on every little everything the environment has stored. For only then can it bloom, and bloom fully, colourfully, proudly. So if culture means growth, Lord, let this land flourish by teaching of our words. Thanks. Okay. There's a wee welcome, a wee imbue to our shire. I love doing the Macker gig, it's great. Some of the things I'm asked to do and events I'm asked to come to. And then people say, can you write a poem about a bridge? We've got a really famous, pretty cool bridge in Renfrew. It's celebrating its centenary. We have, aye, that's the Renfrew councillor. But yeah, and then I realised the story behind this bridge, and the guy that built it was a son of the Shire as well. Anyway, so here's to the Shire. Renfrew, turning point in history and topography, where black carries grave to conjoin with white, where Tucheen's field of battle tipped the axis of power, a fleet's fortune on a fulcrum for a summer raider. It was pivotal swings in a land's stories where timelines eddy and swirl, a borough where time and tide was turned forever for kings and for earls, where flights and paths and silver bell chases all mingle, mix and merge, Convol's chariot anchored where the Clutha and the Carthage converge. As the shrine of a saint said to us sailed here, signposts a junction in journeys spanning the years, aye, a place of confluence, now of advance and influence. From still mossy pediment, sanderlings fly into far-flung continents. And then looking out southwest, looking to the past, for the Clyde, to the Black Cap, to the Grafe, where son of a spinner, son of a shire, a master engineer started life. For bobbin boy in a white cart workshop, spinning spools in a lathe ever turning, to blacksmith journeyman with ideas riveting, daily forging, counterbalanced by nights at school, rising, ever learning. Elevated to building giant of towering bridges and titan cranes, reaching skyward, ascending global, attending worldwide fame. On rivers and railways all over, a time-served lifting legacy, arrows stamp hammered on industry, geography and history. Internationally recognisable skylines boasting unmistakable outlines, all giving rise to civic pride. And in Renfrew, turning point of industry, of technology, like a medieval drawbridge opening to commerce, to the contemporary. Bascule, stolid steel swings, heavy load, balanced finely, motors driving, trundling, trunnion, rotating back the rack and pinion. Amidst this post-industrial age, that predominantly dormant bridge, on occasion rises up to share with the world. We've still got plenty to give. Thanks, good luck.
Now we've got twa more big awards coming up, but can we hear it again for Sean Moore? That was an amazing performance.
As Sean himself was saying there isn't much siller knocking about in culture generally. So I thought I'd take this opportunity when we hae a room stapped full with some of the best Scots creative practitioners in the whole country to share a wee bit of good news. We've just been gied a good few £1,000 for Creative Scotland expressly to give you in small grants for Scots language creative projects. No, aye. Ken what? I'm not needing your applause. I'm needing your applications for the grants. Because yous are the, aye, there's a hand up already doing that. So I'm talking about theatre makers, anybody that's working in communities, anybody that's doing projects that'll get Scots out in front of folk and help the great practitioners and creatives we hae in the room to find your voice more clearly. It's no millions. You'll no become the next Scots Language Awards in a Lamborghini, but it's enough to get more projects out there and explore all this great creativity. What was I talking about? Aye. Our next award. Our next award is Scots Speaker of the Year. This is a smashing award. It gives to them every year where tax Scots out the places where it's safe. It tax us out the house. It tax Scots out the pub. It tax Scots out off the football terraces. Tax it into places that we've been told it didn't belong.
Aye, taking Scots into scales, into work, community groups, storytelling sessions. Our nominees this year have taken Scots into all the spaces it needs to be to thrive.
And the nominees for Scots Speaker of the Year this year are Angela Gilmore, Fiona Davidson, Jamie Fairbairn, Mark Sherland, and Susie Briggs.
To present the award, please welcome Michael Dempster for the Scots Language Centre.
Oof, these lights, man. What's going on here? Aye, that's wild. It is brilliant to see you all here. There's that many that I ken in the audience that have had a chance to blether with, and them that I've still to catch up with. I thought I'd be able to see you for here, but anyway. Welcome to Renfrewshire. I was rare excited when I heard that it was going to be in Johnstown. So you can see and listen to the voices of us for that Glasgow's an East Coast town for, you know, that's us west of here. For me, I just live along the road, so, you know, I was quite glad that it's just a fiver and a Joe Baxi to get here. But this is a broad area that has got amazing Scots language, and I hope you get a chance to play that to folk whilst you're visiting here. But for me, one of the things that I love about this event is there's folk from Shetland to the Inns of Galloway here, all blethering together, and that's what it's about. Scots speakers, as Ali was saying there, it's about taking Scots into places where you've been told you've not to take it. Most of us are told we can't take it outside our dialect area. We're told we can't take it outside our hames. So it's smashing to hear these all blethering in your own dialects to one another. So here we go. There's hundreds of envelopes here. Here's the Gowden envelope for Scots Speaker of the Year. I'm glad you didn't steal them this year. And the winner this year for Scots Speaker of the Year is Jamie Fairbairn.
Well fit an honour. Well, I speak Scots really for all the bairns that squeal, for speak themselves or are learning to speak it. And just last week, one of the bairns skrev his essay about the history of the Scots Lead, and he did it in Scots, in Doric. And I'll just read out a little bit of what he wrote. He says, "Fit like a day," a good start. "I'm fae Foggy, a wee village in the northeast of Scotland. I speak Scots, English, and I hae an understanding of French. I hear Doric spoken all the time in my house, like, quit your blethering, stop scuttering about. If we were bathing my dad would cry at a drucket rat. I constantly hear words like spear, like dyke, gulch, tatty, dubs, chooch, ken, deer, scurry, fit, far, fan, coo, loaf, bray, and messages." And then he says, "What I have learnt is that speaking Scots is normal. Schools shouldn't punish you for speaking your hame tongue. I've been surprised by how diverse Scots is, and few muckle languages and cultures have been able to mix with Scots." So he's thinking about the connection between Scots and other leads around Europe. "I just hope that Scots has been spoken yet, fan am aller, and that folk continue to be proud of their language." And Stephen, that's his name, he's recht. And Abdi speaks for Scots in this room. So let's hud speaking for Scots in the world's room. Thank you very much. Cheers, muckle thanks.
Great stuff. Well done to all our nominees so far, and well done to all our winners. I'm just myself out here the new, because Taylor, my pal, is one of the nominees for the next award. I myself have been nominated for a record 14 Scots Language Awards. I myself have a record 0 victories for the 14 nominations. And this year, I'm not even nominated. I'm going backwards. No, I'm doing something right. Our next award is Scots Performer of the Year, sponsored by Traditional Arts and Culture Scotland, Tracks. The nominees are Elisa Dixon, Danielle Jam, Emma Chibasakunda, Fiona Sepang, Len Penny, Natalie Chalmers, Taylor Dyson, and Tim Porteous. Great stuff, great stuff. And to present the award for Scots Performer of the Year, please welcome Anne-Marie Fromk.
Tracks Traditional Arts and Culture Scotland is AFA glad to sponsor this year's award for Scots Performer of the Year. We work with a wee songsters, storytellers, musicians and poets of all kind, and we can wheel the Fantouche wise the Yes Scots in their craft. The winner of this year's award is Natalie Chalmers.
Thank you very much. Just want to give a quick thanks to anybody that's ever taught me and shared their traditions and cultures of Scots language through singing and Doric verse and storytelling for Stanley Robertson, Elizabeth Stewart, to Christine Kidd and Mick West, everybody at the TMSA, the Traditional Music and Song Association, and nae forgetting my long-suffering mother, who was my chauffeur, my personal chauffeur, when I was a kid, taking me around to concerts and competitions over the years. Thank you.
Well done again. Well done again. Well done to Natalie there. Well done to all the nominees. And well done as well to Anna Marie for introducing that award in Scots, she herself being originally from Germany. Let's hear for that. Let's hear another performance. Please welcome to the stage writer Kat Cochran.
Thanks very much, Provost, Lady Provost. It's absolutely brilliant to be here. Congratulations to all the nominees and folk that have won so far, and good luck to everybody that's still to come in their categories. I don't know about yous, but I love a Saturday night. It's like the one night of the week where you're thinking anything can happen, what's round the corner. That being said, there's one day of the week that I can't abide. And like all disgruntled poets, I've wrote a poem about it, so here we go. What's the actual point of Tuesdays? Pitiful nose-picking daft end wee wedge run to an anywhere day. Tuesdays be like the invisible man that's lost his powers, left him in the cludgy to roll among the skitters. By Tuesday, life sucked out of me, same way you'd suck for a frozen quenchy, till all the flavour was deed in the dregs. And Tuesday was a baddie. They'd be kicking an orphan baby into a helicopter propeller. Absolute nicky it. Now they say Tuesday's child is full of grace, but who wants a genteel, snivelling, wee green-nosed Wayne cutting about their feet? And should Tuesday have a look on her, it's the face I make when it's my round and some numpty orders a double. Now the French call their Tuesdays Mardi. Perhaps that's Mardi for Mardi Bum. And the Rolling Stones' Ruby Tuesday was one of their no-so-good songs anyway. Nobody's going to hang a name on you, hen. My dad says Tuesdays were better in the old days, because people in Glasgow used to have a half day on a Tuesday. So I'm all about the petition. So bring back half days and a Tuesday. This wee next one here is a homage to Edwin Morgan's poem A View of Things. And this one's called This, That, Love and Hate. What I love about boots is when Nancy sings they're made for walking. What I hate about boots is my umpteen pairs of holy socks. What I love about airports is watching the people fly by. What I hate about airports is the herds of delayed burnt flesh. What I love about astrology is its 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 second fix. But what I hate about astrology is trying to get my head around the fact that all Leos all over the world are going to have the same fate today. What I love about motorways is their asphalt reliability. But what I hate about motorways is they duly get you from A to B, dully. What I love about the military is your cockades are white. But what I hate about the military is the radiance of orange. What I love about football is their two jumpers make the goalposts. What I hate about football is your polyester emblazed with gambling firms. What I hate about love is its empty stomachs. But what I love about love is its wee wink. Thank you. When I was growing up, there was an Italian family along the street, and I just thought they were the most exotic thing ever, you know, because they were tall and handsome, and there was a big load of them, and me and my family was down the other street, all peely-wally, you know, red hair and freckles, all the rest of it. But then one day, the Italian family just up and left. It was like a midnight flat, and nobody knew what happened to them. So years later, I was thinking about this family, and particularly the boy that was in the family who was ages with me. And I thought, oh, wouldn't it be good to know what had happened? So decided to write a wee poem about, alternately, what might have happened to Vincenzo. Mind that day, it was blowing a hoolie, and you came down the street roller skated up like a couple of Ford Cosworths were stuck to your ankles. Evil Knievel style, you jumped in McJumpsy's hedge like it was diddly, and the dog in the garden didn't know if it was Christmas or Cumbernauld, a mirage of the Mujahideen. Now, a boy named Vincenzo was always going to stand out. A wild Neapolitan heart for your da, but more panloaf on your mother's side. He said a candle so bright couldn't burn for too long, but Vinny, my boy, nothing was for drubbing you in your heyday. And a mere bag of tail in the street you were not, making a name for yourself where grown men couldn't touch you due to mafioso rumours and ties to ice cream wars. And donned in Diadora B elites and Fila trackies like they were street Versace, you rolled up Royston, inhaled Mary Hill and puffed out party on a day's graft. That Azuro Vespa saw legit hooky goods fall off its back, as you could sell dead fish for the South China Seas as long as it bore an Isla Capri stamp on it. Now, by the time you turned a man, you were a mile wide and an inch deep. Glasgow smiles given to rival cheeks of the lassie Ficada who born your wild seed. But nothing and nobody was for stopping you, Vinny, my boy. Like a polypole on an October day, you drifted there the rooftops and up the back roads until the heat melted. And then one day, the whispers at the bus stop. The wee eye tie's no been seen for 3 weeks. Word had it, you'd washed up in Spears Wharf with 2 catfish in each pocket. Or better still, scat back happily to your own tribe in old Napoli. Thanks, Anut.
Cat Cochrane Abdi. Woo! Now, our next award is awfully important, Scotch Teacher of the Year. We are getting the horror stories fair, we're in schooling days, how we were told to corrected for using Scots.
And aye, there's loads of that about, but I was getting a blether just before we got started there at the lovely reception. A lot of folk in the room that are teachers, a lot of folk that are nominated for awards, but also got chatting with Maribel down the front here. Well, I was telling me she used to be a teacher in, was it right? Ellen, was it? She was fair Rainy, but she was teaching in Ellen, and she told me, Ken this, I used to do a secret wee Doric lesson at the end of each class. So even when you weren't there, let's hear it for that. For all the rebels. Good on you. Good on you. And they do. There will be un or twa bairns still getting telt off some place in Scotland for no speaking proper. But as Laura was saying, that isn't the case in most of the country. And every year we've been doing these awards, we have public nominations for arts and parts of Scotland that weren't nominated the year before. So we're getting different teachers, different schools, different parents and bairns, and they're all putting their hands up and saying, here, we ken Scots here and all, and we're teaching it. And that's such a change. Nominees for Scots Teacher of the Year, sponsored by the Scottish Qualifications Authority, are Brian McLaughlin, St Carrick's Primary School, Newton Mearns. Claire Newman, Seaview Primary in Moneyfeith. Rebecca Logan, Banff Academy. Scott Shields, Craigie Barnes Primary, Dundee. Smash in.
And to present the award, please welcome for the SQA, Robert Quinn.
Good evening, everybody, and thanks for inviting SQA to join you for this year's Scots Language Awards as we celebrate excellence and achievement across the whole Scots community. We've been here since 2019, so we're still hanging in here, Alistair, which is good. The location of this year's celebrations, Johnstone Town Hall, has an added significance to me as a proud Paisley buddy and also member of the local Cobarkin Running Club. I used to come here and we used to go running from here and the adjoining Johnstone Baths, of those of you that will remember, Johnstone High School and Thorn Primary School. And come rain and shine, we were always out running round the roads and lanes of this area. And I can still remember my old coach instructing us to get out there and gee it loudy. And never mind if it was, as Kat said earlier, blowing a wee hoolie. And round these parts, blowing a hoolie was a common occurrence. So it's nice to be back in Johnstone, and it's nice to be presenting this award on behalf of SQA. I say this a lot, but it is worth repeating. We couldn't do what we do at SQA without the support of the dedicated and passionate teaching community that we're so fortunate to have in Scotland. And this applies doubly to teachers of Scots. People like Jamie, for example, who have striven over many years in the face of many barriers to get Scots into schools and are now ensuring that Scots is not just existing in the margins, but it's thriving in schools, from primary schools right the way through to the senior secondary schools in the senior phase. So the award I'm proud to be presenting tonight on behalf of SQA is for the Scots Teacher of the Year. And the winner is, if I can open the package, Rebecca Logan from Banff Academy.
Very well done, very well done. Rebecca can't be with us this evening, so she sent us down a video.
Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Logan. I'm a geography and Scots teacher at Banff Academy. I was so shocked when I found I'd been nominated for Scots Teacher of the Year, so I can't believe I've actually won it. Thank you so much to everyone that's voted. Thank you, a huge thank you to Dr. Jamie Fairburn, who got me involved in it, has been just an amazing mentor. And also to my lovely colleagues at Banff Academy, especially Stuart and Kaylee, who got me through the Scots Open University course. And thanks to my lovely students, lovely third years that I had all year. I'm sorry I can't be there, but I really hope to meet you all in the future and have a great time tonight.
Smashing, absolutely smashing stuff. Just to say, she mentioned the Open University Scots course there. I was speaking to Sylvie, who was here the night. Faye, Open University, give us a shout. There she is. So the Open University had this amazing Scots language resource, but she was just telling me before we got started tonight that they're doing a special CPD Scots language for teachers funded by the Scottish Government launching in October. So only with its working in schools, keep an eye out for that. No, on to our next award.
Yes, so the Scots literature available to parents and adults alike is growing at the time in both quality and quantity. Our next award is for Scots Book of the Year.
The nominees are, and the reason I'm reading it is because she can't read the screen for here because she's not wearing her glasses. It's true. The nominees are O Cled We Clud Shikam, 60 lyrics frae the Chinese, published by Irish Pages. Animal Ferrum, translated by Thomas Clark. Tales fae the Doric Side, an anthology of new writing in Doric, North East Scots. The Old Testament in Doric, translated by Gordon Hay. The Banes of the Tourist by Jim McIntosh, Tippermuir Books. WTF is normal anyway, by Joe Gilbert, Seahorse Productions. Lovely.
And to present the award, please welcome for the Scottish Book Trust, Catherine Armstrong.
This is not great if you're vertically challenged, okay. I'm absolutely delighted to present this award on behalf of Scottish Book Trust. We are proud to support Scots readers, writers and speakers through the work that we do, and it's also a huge privilege to work with some of the very hard-working Scots language organisations on projects like the Scots Language Publication Grant and the Scots Young Writer of the Year. While there have always been great Scots writers, it does feel like a particularly exciting time for Scots books right now. It's great to see such a range of books on this list, any one of which would be a worthy winner. But there can be only one, so let's get on with it. Yeah, this is harder than it looks.
No, we haven't sealed it.
You haven't sealed it? Okay. Oh, yeah, okay, that makes it much easier. Thank you. Oh, fantastic. It's Animal Farm by Thomas Clark.
Cam's great, he's excellent, he's all about the community, and I'm pretty sure most people in this room will probably know him, so he'll be absolutely delighted with this, as if he was here, as he would say. But thank you so much. Animal Farm has been great for us and great for Tam, and yeah, it's everything.
I never, 5 years, I still haven't got through any of these awards without making a muckle error. So hopefully that's it. It's off a competitive field, Scots Book of the Year, as always. Our next award is Scots Champion. This scene isn't put out to a public vote. It's decided by a shadowy, top-secret Scots language judging panel. And this year's Scots Champion is Shane Strachan. He is alien his 30s, but has for many years taken his Scots wi' him into public life. He's taken it into the arts. He's taken it into our literature. He's taken it onto Radio 4, into the Times newspaper, and most recently, over this last year, into his role as the National Library of Scotland's Scots Screever. He is one of our finest screevers of literature in the country. His short stories, his verbatim theatre pieces, and his poems are as good as you'll get in ony lead out there. And we are just lucky that he came from a place where Scots is the mother tongue, and we're luckier still that he had the smedum to tack that Scots wi' him and keep it that Doric wi' him through his life. He's doing to give us a performance the new as well, so he's going to come out and collect this award and then perform. Please welcome your 2023 Scots champion, Shane Strachan.
Fit like Abdi. This is awful weird, to be honest, getting this award. I'm really chuffed about it, though, and I just want to say a big thank you to the National Library of Scotland and Creative Scotland for hosting me the past year. As a Scots Screever, I've been able to do heaps through the archives there and been really inspired, and it's been great to actually see that I could take Doric out of the northeast and do events in Edinburgh, in Perth. I'm going to Wigton, I'm here in Echt, in Johnston, so I'm just really chuffed to see that it's not just about dialects sticking to their own regions. We can gang our way. And I was thinking about what it means to be Scots champion, and I think it's just one of those things that's like, I feel like I'm being awarded for just being able to be myself, and I feel like we can only do that easily nowadays when it wasn't always the case. But I will share an anecdote for last year's Scots Language Awards. When I was in the lavies, and I was in the urinal, and I was having a pee, and midway through, a man started yapping to me, and I replied to him, speaking like this, and he said, "Sorry, can you repeat that in English?" I said, "No, neither nacht." One next, neither nacht. And otherwise, I would have normally, but I just thought no. And as I come to the end of being a screever, I wrote an article recently for the Scotsman about what it's like to have these opportunities now, to have the Scots Language Publication Grant, to have Scots in schools, to have so many great Scots books. And my nan had read the article afterwards, and because I'd mentioned that it's like, when I went to school, I was taught to speak English even then, but my nan got the strap, I'm pretty sure, at one point. And this is her text message that I printed out to read. And she said, she only writes in Doric, she only speaks in Doric. She said, "Afa proud Shane, with 3 kiss emojis. You never mentioned this last day, hug emoji. That's why I didn't like writing or speaking English even now. Just because for a young age in school, I hated being forced to speak a teacher's why, even though I could not understand why and was embarrassed to speak up why in front of class." And then she's put the fronted monkey face with 3 kisses. And so this is really for my nan and my family that's always been Scots champions to me. So now I'm going to go over there and perform. So. So So this is an excerpt from the project I've been working on as part of my Scots Griever research, and I've been looking at the ballads of Anna Gordon, also kent as Mrs. Brown of Falkland, and she learnt them in the 18th century, and they ended up appearing in the likes of Francis James Child's ballad collections, Walter Scott's minstrelsy, and so on. So the ain I'm inspired for this piece is called Lambkin, and it's a lot of murders happen. A baby's murdered, a mother's murdered, everybody's killed. It's not half good in that sense. It's a great classic ballad, and I don't know why, but every time I read these ballads, it reminded me of my growing up in the Broch and Peterhead. And so this is inspired by that as well as by Lambkin. So this piece is called Tooth Fairy. You said to your stepdad Xander that another tooth was wobbly as you made your way back feeding his cousins in Rosati one calm autumn weeknight. You were fleeing along the road in the second-hand car he'd nae long bought off his mum and dad. Twa your teeth had fallen out so far, and there was this thirdine wobbling. For each tooth, you got a 50p piece for the tooth fairy. You thought of the sweeties and lucky bags you might buy for the shoppy across the school. Aince this next een fell out. Whoa, you'll be loaded again, Sanders said, as your brother screeched in his baby seat next to you in the back. Can you nae get it out? Nah, it's nae ready yet. You tried wrapping a fold of your wee Ninja Turtles wallet round it and howling, but it wouldn't give muckle mair. Rubbish, I'll get it out to you when we get home. The car seemed to speed up, the fields on the right and the North Sea on the left, blurring as the week passed. Back at the house, Sanders said he kent a trick that would help you get the tooth out. He opened up a mirrored cupboard above a lavy sink and taken out the box of dental floss. He unravelled some and then tied it round the metal handle of the bathroom door. He pulled the box of floss so that Marin spooled until it stretched just past where you stood. Then he snapped the length off and put the box down on the sink. Right, let me see, Xander said as you opened your mouth wide and lifted up your top lip. His fingers stank of fog smoke as he figured with the floss and started tying a couple of knots round your teeth as though he was mending a fishing net. Now, he said, take a step back until the string's tight. You did as you were told and moved away from the door until it started to come ajar with the force of your tooth howling at it, the floss cutting into your gums. Okay, bide there and bide as still as you can. I'm going to go on the other side of the door and slam it shut, and you'll see here another 50p. You were shocking a bit as you put one foot back and one forward to steady yourself. Xander squeezed round to the other side of the door and began counting down. 3, 2, 1. Just as quick as you were halt forward, the cotton floss snapped midway. Sanders said as he came back into the room. Your een were watering, the whole side of your face aching. Hold on, I can't fit it. Look up at me. He placed a hand on your shoulder and then wrapped the length of floss still tied to your tooth round his thumb, winding it tighter and tighter until he might as well have been gripping onto the tooth itself with his fingers. Without warning, he gave a massive tug at your mouth. You couldn't help but let out a scream as you felt something snap inside your face below your nose. You looked down at the tooth lying on the ground. Drips of bleed fell from your mouth down onto it. Your een were sparkling as you turned to look at yourself in the mirror on your tiptoes. You forced a smile at your reflection and could see that, smeared with bleed, the wobbly tooth was still there. You've taken a wrong een out, you spluttered. Xander snorted with laughter. Crap. Oh well, that's another 50p for you. He disappeared out the bathroom, howling with laughter as you rinsed your mouth. You bent down and picked up a tooth off a flare. You rinsed it under the sink and then made your way back into your bedroom with it, your head still darling. You tucked the tooth under your pillow before putting your head down to try and calm the dizziness. The next time you opened your een, it was early morning. The sun no long risen above a spider's wings outside. The pang in your gums reminded you of the tooth. You flipped your pillow over to find it still sitting there, new cool and dry. You picked it up and sniffed it. It smelt of birthday candle smoke. Maybe the tooth fairy didn't come for teeth to out afore their time. You made your way out your bedroom just as your mum came out the lavvy in her fluffy white dressing gown. She looked sleepy, her hair all tangled at the back of her head.
Mom, you whispered, the tooth fairy didn't come last night. Eh? The tooth fairy didn't come. You held up the wee tooth in the dim light so she could see it. Oh no! Your mom's eyes swelled up. That's bad, weren't it? Silly tooth fairy. I'll tell you fit. Will Mom give you 50p to make up for it? Aye, thank you. You ran over and hugged into her leg and she clapped your head. Then you made your way down to breakfast to see who you get on eating with 3 of your front teeth missing and another wriggling about. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thanks to Abdi that's been involved so far. Right now we're going to have a wee break, so tack yourself off for a blether and a bevy, and we'll see you after. Thank you.
Lady Fenella, she drinks at the wine, lamenting for her son. He was killed by the king of all Scotland for all that he had done, for her all that he had done. For the deity, the Esker feather he ruled, she'd been whole high degree, and she set a plan for to get her revenge. King Kenneth the Mundy, King Kenneth the Mundy. King Kenneth was changing the laws of the land, his son mun take the throne. But all the king's family, they ta'en away this, and they raid to Fenella's home. Aye, they raid to Fenella's home. Oh, Lady Fenella, we heard o' your son, and how his blood was spilled, and we've both been wronged by King Kenneth ourselves, and for this we went him killed. Aye, for this we went him killed. Sign atween them all, they set the plot. Forgiveness she would fain. She'd invite him to her land to hunt, and a forelang he'd be slain. Aye, a forelang he'd be slain. Say they hunted and feasted and drank at the wine. She whispered in his ear, I cannot employ to assassinate you. The truth to you I swear, the truth to you I swear. Let bygones be bygones, though my son you killed, his sins they were not for you. Oh, gin you come up to my bed, charmer, some names I'll tell to you, traitors' names I'll tell to you. In the charmer a statue of rocking did stand, with a gouge ring in his hand, a gift of peace I'll give to my king, while rules I were this land, while rules I were this land. Fenella she smiled and stepped aside, the king he's ta'en the ring. Fenella fired and flew through his heart, Fenella killed the king, Fenella killed the king. On a fleer, the king all covered with bleed, but they could not find Fenella at all. They'd nae rest till she was dead, they'd nae rest till she was dead. She fled o'er the highway, the ocean in mind, the last being chimp and small. She fled o'er the treetops, so following a stream, she was cornered by them all. She was cornered by them all. She stream at a wild waterfall. Her body tossed and torn, but some men believe she grew wings and tamed flight and flew to Ireland shore. Aye, and flew to Ireland shore. The king's men they burnt that her cairn to the ground. Kenneth's body they retrieved, and they buried him on the Isle of Iona. The kingdom lang it grieved, oh, the kingdom lang it grieved. In the den of Fenella, rare orchids they grow, and the East King he's been crowned. Oh, think of Fenella and where she may roam, or does she lie in the ground, or does she lie in the ground? So that song was inspired by the balladry that Shane was earlier speaking about, basically all of these 305 child ballads. 95 of 301 of them actually came from Aberdeenshire alone. So I'm pretty biased about that, to be honest. But I wrote that ballad on 6th of January 2021. It was for the Stonehaven Folk Club project called Sense of the Place. And this was during COVID when nobody was moving about and Glasgow was in a tier 4 lockdown for eternity. So I didn't get back to Huntly or Aberdeenshire. And this apparently is about a quine called Fenella or Fenula, fabade in just north of Lawrencekirk, in 950 AD, so pretty old. And her son was a bit of a raj and got himself killed by King Kenneth II, Kenneth MacAlpine, and she decided she would seduce him and kill him. And some people believe that she, escaped and shapeshifted into a bird and flew to Ireland. And some people believed that she was killed. So it's like a Coen Brothers film. You can decide. Whatever. So we're going to do a really short one now called Poor Ditchin' Boy that I translated into Scots. And this was written by Richard Thompson after he read the Lewis Grassic Gibbon novel Sunset Song, which so many of us get to read in secondary school. Not me in Huntly. I was punted with Othello for 5 years. So apparently he wrote this after reading Sunset Song, so I thought I'd pinch it back. There's a river to winter, say calm, say sad. The river are weedy to flood. The storm and the wind cut the right in my skin, but she cut the right in my blood. I was looking for trouble to tangle my line, but trouble came looking for me. I kenned I was standing on treacherous ground. I was sinking our festering free. We were scheming, idlewise. She left me here in the huff. The storm and the wind caught the right in my skin, but she caught the right in my blood. I would not be asking, I would not be seen, a begging on mountain or hell, but I'm ready and willing with my hand tied in. I've neither a mind nor a will. We her scheming, idlewise. She left me here in the huff. The storm and the wind caught the right in my skin, but she caught the right in my blood. It's bitter the need of the pure ditching boy. You'll always believe what they say. They tell him it's hard to be honest and true. Does he mind if he doesn't get paid? We her scheme. man idolize. She left me here in the half. The storm and the wind cut right to my skin, but she cut right to my blood. We her screaming, idolize. She left me here in the half. The storm and the wind cut right to my skin, cut right to my blood. Cheers.
Hello. Can I just say a massive thank you to the Iona Fife trio? Woo! Did Abdi enjoy the break? Hey, a wee blether, a wee drink? Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to say, Scots language is often misunderstood by the wider public. And what's hitting me tonight is that we're changing these perceptions. There's them who I think Scots is about brain-deed nationalists making themselves as different to the English as possible, birling a saltire round their thrapple and cutting about speaking like burns. But it isn't that at all. The night we have folk from Ireland, Poland, England and every corner of Scotland up for the awards. Scots is about folk speaking and having the space to speak in their own voice. So, where have you been?
Hey, please. The next award is Scots Business of the Year. This is a smashing award. It's a chance to hease up all the businesses that take that risk to put Scots front and centre o' ahin they day. They make it a safe place to speak Scots in their shoppy. Of course, they use Scots in their marketing. They stock Scots books and merch and blether away after their customers in our lead. Nominees for Scots Business of the Year 2023, J.G. Ross the Bakers, Lewis Press, Mither Tongue in Keith, Orbs Bookshop, Scottish Scriever Centre, Tippermuir Books, and Upper Crust Sandwich Shop in Aberdeen.
To present the award, please welcome Gaelic superstar Joy Dunlop.
Who you are doing? Please give me more of a cheer than that. We could be louder. Well, a haar sin sé fíorhlach gahan a bhínar cuideach an noch agus a bhí a taispanug agus a cótharachuig sé ile jinna canan dúchsach a cin an nolva. It's an absolute pleasure to be here celebrating another one of our Indigenous languages in Scotland. I'm very used to doing the Gaelic, so it's a real pleasure. I actually come from a tiny wee village called Connell, just outside Oban, and we learn Burns as much as we learn Sorley MacLean or Ian Crichton-Smith. We learned songs in Scots just as much as we did in Gaelic, and it's really lovely just to hear it spoken so naturally tonight and to get to announce one of the awards. So I'm not going to keep you any longer. The Scots Business of the Year this year is J.G. Ross the Baker.
J.G. Ross can't make it down the night. They're too busy baking their butteries for the morn's morn. But fair play to them. Thank you very much, Joy, for coming along.
You're welcome.
And just on that, the whole Gaelic and Scots together thing. Like, I wouldn't believe in Scots. I wouldn't give so much time to Scots if it wasn't for my Gaelic teacher at university, who I was like, here, Ali, you're obviously pish at Gaelic, but you come for your own tradition. And she told me that the words that I was bringing in, the words that I was speaking, my heritage was just as valuable. And just because we didn't have, Ken, Progressive Gaelic 1 textbook in Scots yet, it didn't mean we didn't deserve it. And the work the Gaelic kind of community, the Gaelic communities have done with broadcasting and confidence and activism is the model we'll follow in. So cheers very much to Joy and everybody else in the Gaelic scene. And I believe we're going to say that the mod is also coming to Renfrewshire soon, so cheers very much to you guys. Hi, so we're getting both Scots and Gaelic doing here in the cultural heartbeat of Scotland, thanks to you doing the front. Aye, please.
So our next award is Scots School of the Year, sponsored by HQ Black and White Publishing. Every ane of the nominated schools deserves a muckle round of applause for doing the right thing by the bairns. So let's hear it for the nominees.
Let's hear it for every single one of the many nominees, so brace yourselves. Nominees for Scots School of the Year. Monymusk Primary School in Inverurie. Lossiemouth High School, Murray. Braveview Academy in Dundee. Arbroath High School in Bonnie Angus. Jedburgh Grammar in Scottish Borders. Fernhill School in Glasgow. Melbourne Academy Inverness. And James Gillespie's High School in Edinburgh. And Newton Primary in Ayr. And Fossaway Primary in Kinross. St Machen Academy in Aberdeen. Kirkcudbright Academy Dumfries in Galloway. Mary Russell School Paisley. And Ralston Primary School also in Paisley. And give yourselves a cheer for all that cheering.
To present the award, we have former winner of Scots Teacher of the Year, Amanda Dunn.
All right, hello. Hi, I'm really, really grateful to be down here and presenting this award. Last year when I was here, I was baffled and everybody was laughing at me because I was all tongue-tied. But this is a really, really important award. I think a school isn't just a place for weans to go and learn. Me as a teacher, I take my job very, very seriously. A school is a second home to these weans. It's a community, it's a place where they should feel safe, and us as teachers and other educators should be making them feel lifted by their own mother tongue. So the Scots School of the Year award this year goes to, and I hope it's one I can pronounce, I'm sorry if I can't. Monymusk Primary, so well done.
Oh, me. I'm Jill Moyer, I'm the head teacher at Monymusk, and this is Jane Veach, who's one of the class teachers. We're just a little wee tiny school in the middle of Aberdeenshire. We've got 3 classes, 64 pupils, but my goodness, we work together as a team, not just in the curriculum, but everybody, that's the staff, the parents, the children, the whole community. We celebrate our local culture and heritage, and we think that that is just as important as your literacy and numeracy. Everything Scots goes through our curriculum, especially the Doric language. You'll have seen right at the start we were nominated for Scots Bairns Book of the Year as well. And you know, as head teacher, I have never been prouder of children, staff, parents, and the community who all pulled together. And you know, they originally wanted to make just a little wee book, staple bits of paper together and send it home to their parents, and it grew bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think just with the confidence that they have and the self-belief that everyone has as well is just, it's just tremendous. And this award just means so much, not just for us being here tonight, but to everybody out there who voted for us. I can't thank you enough. That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Smash it. just a wee hing, all you lucky winners, deserving winners. At the end, it'd be amazing if you could hang about just for a wee second and get a group photo together down the front of the stage, all with your lovely plaques that you're winning there. And for Abdi in the room, we're all way to Callum's for a wee bevy after this, right?
Woo!
Aye, quite right. A wee bit more enthusiasm for the bevy. We're all way to Callum's. Aye, we'll see you there.
Amazing. Please welcome back to the stage the Tannahill Mackers, Sean Moore.
Thanks to the sound guys for running on and off with this wee thing here. I'm not going to Callum's, I'm going to the Clutha. No harm to Callum's, but my band's got a wee gig on after this, so... Anyone else that will support the local businesses and all that, anyone else that doesn't want to get stranded in Johnson and wants to come to the Clutha, yeah. Okay, loved Iona's take on the old stories there. As makers, as writers, as musos, we get to be a vehicle, a conduit to keep language alive, but also to keep the stories alive as well. It's a lovely privilege to be allowed to retell history, a privilege which I fully intend to abuse. Anyway, I'll maybe see a lot of you guys at a St Andrew's night in the near future. It's always preferable that a people's patron saint should somehow be seen to represent some aspect of your innate national psyche, or what the natives would like to believe that they're like. The idea is the denizens should find some inspiration in the legend of a saint's deeds to drive their nation. That's how our Irish cousins, fighting an unwelcome occupation, followed the example of Patrick, who'd cleared out a previous infestation. Or how our English friends and neighbours try to live up to that dragon-slaying metaphor. George killed alien monsters. Since adopting him, they've all been at war. So Andrew, Scotland, why Andrew of all the saints? He wasn't an A-lister apostle like John or Luke or Matthew or Mark. Nae miraculous behaviour, nae nation saviour. I mean, he was nae Stevie Clark. But I once heard someone tell that he was a perfect saint for us, because when he got martyred, he insisted on a diagonal cross. And he demanded to be nailed up different. The Romans wanted to go with tradition, the horizontal intersecting the vertical. The guard says, oh, here, listen to this, Shane. Says he wants to be executed spread eagled, face down, legs apart, pointing skywards. This Shane here must be Scottish. He was born bloody awkward. He meant it would be in the right pain, and he was a stubborn and twisted case, which meant that he was the right patron for a stubborn and twisted race. But Andy wasn't trying to be scunnersome and thrawn. We should celebrate the people that break for the norm. And I think that verdict was a wee bit unjustified. He was just inventing a new way to be crucified. I'd call that quite radical and innovative, thinking outside the box. It's imaginative. And those are attributes that do make him Scottish. A nation of trailblazers and trendsetters, the pater, the patron, the feather of a nation of thinkers, designers and inventors. At this point, it would be far too easy to just launch into that famous list of Scottish firsts and inventions. But that's been done to death by speakers before. Besides, there's far too many to mention. But I think the mark of real genius is when an idea gets taken for granted, becomes so commonplace around the world that it's forgotten how it was invented. Like, we don't mind who was the first to forge the steel, who invented the screw, the very first wheel. Well, for simplicity and common usage, there's one invention that takes some beating. There's invented by Scots, adopted by the world. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. It's one of the most common objects known to man. It's your everyday domestic frying pan. Where did it come from? Oh, wonder nae mair. The first pan was made to fit fine Scottish fare. Aye. It was internationally known as the Scottish pan when it was first exported to every culture, every land, till French crepes, Spanish paella, Indian poppadoms, all graced this pan intended for our humble totties gone. Aye. Buckle in, history lesson. For centuries, tatty scones were made the same size and shape, toasted over a peat or wood-fired on an iron grate. But when one chieftain one day said, I wish they weren't as dry, his wee wifey experimented, and she learned how to fry. She noticed her shape, an isosceles triangle with a bottom edge nicely rounded could fit together in 4 to make a perfect circle. What a discovery. She was astounded. So she went to the village blacksmith. She took her husband's dirk and his targe. He forged them together, honel and skillet. But still it was a bit too large. But this wee wifey was well on a mesh, and she said, put down your tongs and your hammer, measure it out with a compass and a ruler to fit 4 tatty scones in a wanner. And he did. And to this day, thanks to that chieftain's wife's pure genius, frying pans all over the world are made in the 4 Scottish totty scone radius. Be proud, countrymen and women, be proud. But don't be surprised. Because that's the hallmark of Scottish creativity. Plain, functional genius in its simplicity. And talking simplicity, there's the simplest food of all. The oldest, most basic staple. Bread is another example. Other folk can footer with their flour or flouncy and frilly and embossing and embellishing and gilding the lily. Arty-farty, ostentatious ornamentation. But we're a straightforward, no-nonsense nation. Aye, the French can bake their baguettes like baseball bats 2 foot long or more. Won't fit in the bread bin, the toaster, the poly bag. You get it jammed going out the shop door. A shop that's got bread for all the world. All different, too many to choose. Indian pitias, chapatis and rotis and naans that are stupidly huge. Or you on German rye stuff. Footery wee slices, heavy and dense, and pumpernickel and pretzel knots and shapes and sizes just as mad as the French. But the breastfeed originated a bit closer to home. It's the Scottish square loaf, a.k.a. the plain. With dimensions as sensible as that totty scone, a Scottish plain piece fits just neat in your horn. Aye, you might say. So does the English pan, the Welsh farrel or the Irish soda cob. But the hod in it is only half the story. It's how it's designed to do its job. It's what it's designed to hod, and by God it hods it just nice. It's a match made in designer heaven, a slice of square bread and square slice. Mere proof of your engineering genius, as if any proof was needed. Practical, sensible, functional Scots. It's just the way we were breeded. Sorry. See every other country's sausages. And by the way, there was no wains in the night. We all get told not to swear. And every other country's sausages are all shaped the same, and that's every other country, apart from our own. Usually strung together in a long, unwieldy chain, and usually bent, cooking them evenly is a pain. And they're often overcomplicated with herbs and chilli and garlic, and basically, quite frankly, I think they look too blooming phallic. So you pick up a plain loaf and a packet of Lorne, and you feel quite proud of the land where you were born. It's a warm, glowing pride, an unrequited, unconditional love for a homeland where peace and sausage fit together like a perfect velvet glove. So let's toast the nation of Scotland. And toast the people of that nation. And toast Andrew, our patron saint. And recall that martyr's final declaration. When he said, "Don't put me on a cross like the Son of God, for I am not deity, but humble, common, mortal man, whose last request is that my final shadow cast should be the cross of totty scones united in a frying pan." What's like us? And they've all got their own breed. So, thanks for listening. I know history can be boring, especially when it's accurate. I'm going to take this wee thing away now, because I'm going to do a gig at a Clothier later on. Enjoy your night.
Sean Moore, come on, let's hear it again. What a guy. Sensational stuff. Now, to our Janet Paisley Lifetime Achievement Award. This is a biggie. Winners for previous years include top-tier Scots talent such as Sheena Blackhall and Anne Donovan. To introduce our 2023 Lifetime Achievement Award winner, please welcome David Mitchell.
Michty, what a journey it's been to get here. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. I better be polite. as I was brought up. Good evening, all. What a real pleasure it is to be here at this grand gathering of Scots speakers and others who what an interest in what you're doing to preserve and promote the lead. I hae kent this queen for nigh on 25 years now. I first met her in Aberdeen in the Beach Grove studios when she asked me to get up and get involved in one Sunday morning gardening radio programme. You mind the one thing that we used to call the shed. It being the BBC in the days, I had to do as my mother told me to, and to use the Queen's English when I broadcast. Michty, how things have changed. At last I can speak more free and talk just like my grandfather did. You can, he'd be awful proud of what's going on here the night and all the changes that have taken place in my life since he gave me wee McGregor by J.J. Bell. And she looked at him and scoured at him and said, "What did you give the boy that for?" She says, "So he can learn to speak." Little did I ken when I first met Frida that I'd be standing here presenting the wifey with a Lifetime Achievement Award. However, looking back at her doings, it's no wonder that she's been recognised by her peers like this for what a life it's been. You ken, she started as a screeving journalist at D.C. Thompson's before going to the BBC as a freelancer in 1992 and then joining the staff 2 years later to broadcast live about farming every day for near 5 years. Frida then set up Out of Doors. You'll ken that, a known programme, the gardening thing I was talking about. Canny as always, she worked hard to build a large, loyal audience for both programmes. But like me, she scurried about the globe, all roads, looking at cultural tourism. Ken, she spoke about in Israel, Ethiopia, Malawi, India and Spain. And like Tusitala himself, she's gone over the mountains in a donkey. It's nae real far she's been. She was even nominated for the one prestigious New York Radio Award for her land documentary, Land Revolution in Nicaragua. She even had to go into the Big Apple to pick up the award, and she ta'en that in her stride. Now, as I said, I've kent her for 25 years, and there's no messing with her when she's on a mission, so it's no wonder she ta'en New York in her stride. But seeking something different, as she aye does, she ta'en the road less travelled in 2010, and she became the artist in resident at the School of Scottish Studies, and that's where she set up Scots Radio. Broadcasting in Scots. Can you imagine such a thing 10 years ago? What would I thought then that we'd hear 100 programmes under our belt today, plus 7 Excellence Awards at the Celtic Media Festival, as well as the best magazine programme in 2001. But nae content with that, Frida started the Doric Film Festival in 2020, and that's gone from strength to strength, encouraging and helping hundreds of folks to get involved in making 5-minute films, doing a lot of good with schools and community groups. She's made acclaimed documentaries herself, including Troubled Fields, that was about the changing face of farming and land ownership in the northeast of Scotland. She's an accomplished musician and recording artist, making albums like Morven and Flying by the Sun and Troubled Fields. Listening to them, her voice, especially when it's reflecting the land itself, it tugs right at your heart. When I asked her a wee while ago, what next? She said, "Oh, I just want to develop Scots Radio further, as that's what I'm most proud of, especially the team. I want to concentrate on growing that programme, and you guys, and the folks at the Doric Film Festival." You can, that's so typical of Frida. She loves growing folks at all ages, communities and their skills. She's awful good at shoving you in new directions and helping to make sure that you can do better. Making you think harder about what you're doing. And personally, I owe her an awful lot for what she's taught me and for how she's grown me as a broadcaster in the last 25 years. As she regularly tells me, Scots Radio makes sure that it speaks in Scots language, nay often about Scots language. Scots Radio uses the language as a working tool to make sure it's inclusive, entertaining, informative, fit for everybody, both home and for Scots abroad. That's enough for me, or I'll get dealt off again for rambling on. Frida Morrison, you need to come up here now and accept this award that's so well deserved for so many things over a lifetime of being creative, for everything that you've done to help everybody to grow this language. It comes for your peers and your friends and your former colleagues. But most of all, it comes for these folk that are your chums, because that's what they are. That's what we all are in this room. Now, I don't ken fits in that envelope, and I can't get into it, and I'm not going to poke because I'm hanging on to my stick here. But I've got this plaque for the Janet Paisley Services to Scots for Frida Morrison. Give a big hand for Frida Morrison. See, I'm getting dealt with today again.
You ken us. You just never ken far kens far. Ladies and gentlemen, fit an honour this is, and yet you ken us, it has its challenges. When I was putting some photos together for this event to help with the help of my cameraman, Graham Reid, photos of myself and with some other folk and locations, as they say, shown in chronological order, the passing of time. Graham, looking at the screen and the photos, I thought lifting his ear and says, "You used to be quite bonny." Squiggly moo. I ken the path on foot I tread and the fire below. There's a heap of folk sitting our room here, thinking, "Aye, she's come downhill off." Well, it is what it is, and I've been lucky to come this far. I've stood 6 feet away from a Bengal tiger in India, hidden in a safe house in Managua, Nicaragua, sharing the house with Honduran freedom fighters. That's another story. I crash-landed in a wee plane in Aksum, Ethiopia, when I was trying to find the lost ark. Aye, there's bit for fortune. But I realised now how blessed I am to have had the privilege via the BBC making the programmes about countries and their cultural tourism in Israel, India, Malawi, Ethiopia, and Spain, as Dave said. And making programmes in this country, meeting the kindness of strangers. And my gratitude goes out to Cliff Jones with my trusted companion in many of these adventures, and his knowledge of cultures and wildlife was an inspiration. It's been a great journey, and still enjoying it through an amazing landscape full of folk with stories. Welcome smiles usually, and great kindness and patience. But let me just go back a wee bitty. My broadcasting life began in BBC in Aberdeen with a legendary manager, Roger Mortimer. A day the phone rings in my wee cottage outside Cooter, and the voice says, "Is that you, Quine?" And I says, "Mechby." The voice says, "This is Arthur Argo. If you mean it." Now, Arthur, as a lot of folk will ken, was a legend. He was the man who first set up an agency called Arthur's Feet, representing and promoting up-and-coming folk singers like Billy Connolly, Ali Bain, Barbara Dixon, Rab Noakes. List is huge. But Arthur had had a career change and was now a producer at the BBC in Aberdeen, working under the direction of the manager there, Roger Mortimer. Arthur was wanting me to sing in his first big production, coming from Studio One in Aberdeen, And this was an experimental joint production with Robin Hall presenting the BBC in Glasgow. And they were trying out a new presenter to present for Aberdeen. And I was delighted to be asked. I'll take the new lad out to meet you at your house the morn, says Arthur. And that he did. And into my house and my life walked the new presenter. His name was Robbie Shepherd. At the interval in the rehearsals, Roger Mortimer, the aforementioned manager, sat down beside me and we got news in. He kent I'd been a reporter with D.C. Thompson and I was new freelance. And Roger asked, ever thought of broadcasting on the wireless? I said, no. He said, well, if you're interested, come and see me on Monday. And that's what I did. And the rest is history. I owe my broadcasting career and style to Roger, and the nation owes the introduction of Robbie Shepherd to Roger. And it was Roger who made me aware of full precious my own Northeast language was to me, my community and beyond. Later on, Roger was promoted to second in command in BBC Scotland and had to move to Glasgow. But he continued to support me and many other newbie broadcasters throughout Scotland. And ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to dedicate this award today to the memory of Roger Mortimer. Without him, I wouldn't have been standing here today. Moving on, as a farming producer, presenter in BBC Scotland, the challenges were many. And during this time, I made my first song album, doing it at Butterston Studios with Doogie and Jenny McLean. Troubled Fields was a collection of songs that explained what I was seeing happening to the farming community in the Northeast. Let me explain a wee bit. The economists were saying there's far too many family farms. A few of us were saying, well, there's far too many economists, actually. And as I said in my subsequent TV documentary called Troubled Fields, that happens to the links in that chain that holds that community together has knock-on effects and resonates throughout our culture and our language, be it in the Northeast or throughout the country. The bracken of that chain is still going on, are we? Now, I started my documentary up at the vitrified fort called the Barmican, with the words, at the top of the hill called the Barmican, in the midlands of Mar in Aberdeenshire, you can see the surrounding countryside. And through the Pictish Steen fort that crowns the hill, you can see the Steen circle of sun honey. And today I can add, just down for the hill, you can see the wee village of the Necht in Echt. The wee village is far we gathered recently to pay our last respects to that presenter Arthur Argo was trying out yon years ago. The heroine of the book, A Scots Square, that Iona mentioned earlier on with the trilogy in it, by Lewis Grassill Gibbon, is Chris Guthrie. And in the final chapter, she sits near the top of the hill, the Barmican Hill, watching the wee legs go out in the crofts of Aruna. Crowned with mists, the hill of Benachie was walking into the night. But as Chris sits looking, hands clasped around her knees, watching the wee legs get off, she realised that change that ruled the earth, the sky, the waters underneath the earth, might be stayed by none of the dreams of men. And that is the best conclusion of all. I, the author, as a Fairman journalist, born in Achterles in Aberdeenshire in 1901, kent he was watching the end of an era. 100 years later, so was I. So, our work, as I see it, should we choose to take part, is to embrace change and work with it. We can embrace it and catch the language afore it walks into the Necht like Benachie. Well, somewhere amongst the Steens of the Barmican and the Steen Circle of Stonehoney, for I started and finished my TV documentary, a big light bulb went on in my head. As a Fairman journalist, I too was watching the end of an era, and our language and our culture was disappearing fast. I never thought I had a mission to do something about it, but I felt I had a responsibility to do something about it. In fit why should we lose and cast aside our treasure of words and cripple our expression that contains our inspiration of childhood and voices of our ancestors, like something fading fae secht, like Benahi? And do we just forget our words, a language that is so precious and expressive and humorous, a language that contains our very instincts, our links, a language that can mean more and feel more than the words in English? Yes, language is part of our identity, but I would go further. Our native language is the song of our soul. Ladies and gentlemen, we are seeing new elections going on all around the country, and your presence here the night, and all the folk involved in this event, is testament to that. My congratulations to everybody here, and to Simon Thumier and the team for putting this all together. And how appropriate it is that this week the Scottish Government is discussing the introduction of a Scottish Languages Bill. Before I go, I would like to say a very big thank you to some folk. To the team for have worked their magic behind the scenes at the Doric Film Festival to make it possible. Thank you. Special mention to Josh Bircham and Jim Broon. And of course, members of the Doric board, they have provided advice, support, and maybe even bits of wisdom at times. And one last couple of thank yous. The Scots Radio, the team that have been with me since the start and beyond for the 10 years, Richie Werner, Steve Byrne, Dave Mitchell, Josh Bircham, and Claire Patterson. To all our supporters and their sponsors, a very big thank you. And special mention of the team for the Scottish Government. You made this possible. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, for your support, for the bottom of my heart, a very big and sincere thank you. And may the wind I be at your back, and may your tackets never roost. Thank you.
Absolutely smashing. Congratulations, Frida. Our next award is for Young Scots Writer of the Year, sponsored by Education Scotland. To present it, please welcome Bruce Eunson.
Thank you, Ali. I can mind that the awards last year, the winning story was about twa young lasses. Well, this year, myself and the judging panel are getting the prize to a story about twa young boys. And I strongly recommend that everybody here, that you seek out this story and read the winning entry, because it is an awful good one. And like all good literature, there is both plenty to learn from the story and a wealth for the reader to feel as they gain on this unique journey with the twa young men. Written in rich Scots, full of warmth, good humour, and lively, memorable characters, where will take you back in time to post-war Glasgow, complete with trams, mysterious paper parcels, and even a zoo with a lion. I'll no get any more awa. Instead, I'd like to thank my fellow judges, Matthew Fitt, Katrine Armstrong, and Ailey Accolade. We are awful proud that we have yet another talented young screiver to share with you, something to celebrate, while will be an inspiration not only to other youngins, but to always adults as well. Can you please join me in a big round of applause for the 2023 Young Scots Writer of the Year, Elise Atkins.
I'd love to say a massive thank you to my papa, who the story was about, and who has always encouraged me to tell stories through himself telling stories, and to my mum for helping me out with this story as well, and just my entire family. Thank you so much for this. Thank you.
Well done again. Now we hear a wee treat for you. The story was so good. Bruce was right. The story was so good that, and my pal Taylor is such a good performer and actor that we decided to abridge the story a wee bit. And if you give her a loud round of applause, Taylor's going to come out and share that story with you. Our Young Scots winner story.
Billy Barr and Johnny Jamison's day out. Wee Billy Barr and his pal Johnny Jimison were having a donner through Glasgow town. Johnny hid in his horn a battered issue of the day's paper. "Oh, Billy, take a gander at this. Thon big eyes if you round the corner for us from a minging old bag that somebody had flung outside our close, and you'll ne'er guess what was in it." "What, Johnny? What was in it?" said Billy. "Hunters of money," Johnny belted out. "Nobody knows who it belongs to. She might get to keep it." "Nae doubt she'll be flitting to thon bear's den," laughed Billy. Johnny's eyes lit up with excitement. "Oh, do you think the zoo has bears?" "What are you going on about bears for? You're the one that mentioned bears." "No, I said bear's den the town, no the big hairy animal." "Oh, right," Johnny said, feeling a bit of a numpty. "We're not that far for the zoo. How don't we go and have a look?" Billy suggested, trying to make his pal feel better. "Aye, Billy, that'll be magic." So off they went to the wee zoo on Oswald Street. It was an old building that was once a kirk. Billy and Johnny walked through the stone archway entrance. Billy looked there at a sign that read, £1 per adult, 2p per child, babes in arms go free. A man was sitting at the desk waiting for the next visitors. Billy pulled 2 2p pieces from his trouser pocket. "Here, Johnny." He handed his pal one of the coins. "That's another 2p you owe me," Billy teased. They approached the man. "Ah, twa bairns. That'll be 4 pennies, the man said cheerfully. They handed her the coins. "Hey, Billy, what's the bairn?" whispered Johnny. "Do you know deed the Bruins? They've got a wee and nae name. They just cry the bairn. A bairn's a wean, just like me and you," Billy explained. "Oh, right," Johnny said. "That man must be from Glebe Street and all," Billy surmised. "You're twa going to the big school after the summer holidays?" the man asked as he handed the 2 wains their tickets. "Aye, we are," answered Billy. "Are you excited?" "Aye, we are, mister," Johnny said. "You'll hear rare tear. Make sure you mind your pencils," the man said. "Well, have fun. Make sure you see the lion," he called as he waved them into the zoo. The bairns, or wains, had a rare time in the zoo. Then something happens on their way out. They see a paper bag on the flare, just like the big ane Isa had found for money outside her clothie. "Billy," he said. "Look!" Billy's eyes followed Johnny's pointing finger. A brown paper parcel wrapped with string tied into a bow on the top, nae label to be seen, was just sitting on the ground. "You don't think," Johnny whispered. Billy minded the story in the paper they'd been blethering about earlier on that day, his eyes fixed on the parcel. "Do you want to split it? Half each?" Billy asked. "What about the money I owe you?" "Aye, you're right enough. How about 75-25, said Billy, trying to be sleek it. "Do you think my head buttons up the back, Billy? I'm not that bad at maths." Billy picked up the brown paper parcel. It was heavier than he expected. Billy thought to himself there must be thousands of money in it, not just the hunters that Big Eyes had found. But before he could unwrap the treasure, Johnny called out to him. Oh, Billy, there's no tram. Billy ran out to the stop, humping the parcel with him. The green, orange and cream tram car rumbled as it glided along the road. It stopped and the two Waynes got on. They ran up the stairs and found two empty seats together. They had barely sat down when Johnny excitedly demanded, Billy, open it! Calm down, Johnny, I'm trying to, Billy said. He pulled off the string and opened up the paper. It was then that it hit him. The most foul, awful stench you could imagine. It was bouffing. Really, really bouffing. Billy recoiled for the parcel. That's boggin'! What's in that thing? Johnny shouted as the colour left his coupon and he flung a horn up to his neb. Billy pulled back the brown paper and took a swatch. There was no mistaking it. What Billy had on his lap was a heaving pile of dung. It's keek, Johnny! A lion's keek! Billy cried out. He quickly covered it air again, but the smell didn't dissipate. What are we going to do, Billy? Two people sat ahint them began to cough and waft the air around themselves. There's the conductress coming, cried Billy. Come on, Billy, let's get off this thing before she gets to us. The two Waynes jumped down the stair, rang the bell and flung themselves off at the next stop. That was a close one, Billy. Johnny, where's the parcel? Billy questioned. You had it last. No, you had it. Billy, I never had it at all. Billy's eyes sprung open as he realised. Oh no, Johnny, I've left it on the tram. Billy went all peely-wally. That conductress knows my mammy. If she tells her, I'll get my bum scalped. Johnny burst out laughing. That's all right. She doesn't know mine.
What an amazing story. What an amazing story for Elise. So well done again to Elise Atkins and well done to Education Scotland and the Hale judging panel for sponsoring and finding that story. And well done to Taylor. Brilliant. We have another performance now. Please welcome back to the stage, Kat Cochran.
Congratulations, Elise, that was brilliant. If there's publishers in the house, please have a word. That's great. I wish there was something like this when I was your age, so you can just get a wee bit of a spur. Congratulations, just pure brilliant talent. One of the things that we were all scunnered with during the lockdown and COVID and whatnot was you couldn't have a right good debate in the pub. So I remember when the lockdown went up, for want of a better way of putting it, I couldn't wait to get back into the pubs in Glasgow particularly and have a right good debate. And one of the first debates that I had, in fact, in the Clutha, was, where Sean's away, is about what was Glasgow's best years. So I decided to write a poem what I think Glasgow's best years was, and folk can come up and disagree later on, but the 2 years that I've kind of done poems for was 1990 and 1988. So the first one's 1990. We shoegazed our way through happy Mondays. That year the Clyde's heart ran culture through its awarded veins. Tie-dyed waist up, acid-washed hips down, we dancing in spiral carpets as Mandela flew the coupe to freedom. Seattle spawned a Generation X, just fit enough to be dragged, screaming and shouting into the mosh pit, where we stood on a precipice, angst-ridden, apathetic, yet full of the century's last flurry of sonic youth. Ness and Dorma kept us awake all summer. None shall sleep as desert shield rose, curtains fell, a chip off the old Berliner's block. And with a link in the channel and a kink in the ozone, we'd just sat back better, smiles better, licking our ice babies. Hubble let Orion's nebula shine like a star, while toil and poll tax trouble burst Maggie's veritable bubble. Gaza Greta River, Imelda racketed up shoes. By the score, they buzzed like she had whiz strapped to her toes. They came to our dear green place for the culture. Strike a pose, Glasgow, there's nothing to it. Home alone with yon good fellas and real gone kids. Old Ricky, you can't touch this. Glasgow, be it true, nothing compares to you. So this is the second year in the kind of wee, this one's called iPhone Memories. Acid came later than Eddie the Eagle. That year we passed our cycling for I can never say that. Cycling proficiency test. Easy for me to say. We fly in school colours. Our rally burners trained a harsh winter as perestroika came into full swing and the Contras got a bad rap for the beeb. We did our own cool runnings round the pesky cones, no falling asunder, skinning the knees off new stonewashed whatever that day. Cold spokes thawed as Tiffany hit hotspot thinking she was alone with us, while Kylie quipped, I should be so lucky. Infamy beckoned, and a curry with an egg wasn't the only one who asked, when will I be famous? No dope could answer that, as a Canadian soul brother duped he had soul brother. A soft drink roller coaster marked the landscape as Glasgow smiled better in loops and fairest floor. A twist came later when the houses never did, nor a faint whiff of loads of money down our way, but iPhone memories. Get one last wee poem, and I was told that it was going to be a family affair the night, so I've got two versions of it. One is about Buckfast, and the other one's about Iron Brewing, like I say, because I thought there was going to be Wayne's here. I decided to do the Iron Brew one, and I've got a can of Iron Brew, and I've not got a bottle of Buckfast, so I'm going to need to stick with the Iron Brew version. Never work with animals, kids or props. So here we go. See, just get it started, aye. Okay, so there's this one nation on fair Mother Earth. Were you on Coca-Cola? Isn't it tap dog mirth? Can bottle draft, it sure doesn't matter. Down my gullet, you're like honey through a gold carburetor. Flat and warm, with fritter rolling aside, like nectar, down my throat do you glide. Serotonin, dopamine, fair ginger whiz, Gaviscon handy for your acid and fizz. Your dulcet taste makes me all of a quiver. Dinna dare ask what you're doing to my liver. Come out and play with my girders, you wee fanny. I'll douse you in cremola foam. With measurements akin to Oppenheimer, we'll make your own atomic bomb. Now, there's certain things that don't compliment thee, like vodka and Malibu and ice cream and kimchi. And if I had a penny for every morn that you'd save me, made my work is in the fridge the night afore I'd lain you. And down a ditch, a month I know I'd survive, with only my Iron Brew choose to keep me alive. See, I've got the gift of telekinesis, can spot you abroad and amongst all the masses. Or to find a can of brew in Spain. A £5 a pop is the only shame. Now I've quaffed you, I've guzzled you, wolfed you down all my life, and never a day have you gave me trouble nor strife. And blessed be the moment came through, with a can machine for a pun fell out to you. Rib clear glaze and blue metal tap, your girders do rock in every last drap. Aye, it's fair plain to see the new. We've got the gift to see us forever in Iron Brew.
Thank you. Cheers for that. Now, we're doing to our twa final awards. First up, Scots Media Person of the Year.
So this is for the funny, bold folk who put themselves and their Scots tongues out there to entertain, engage, and deal with all the online dramas. So our nominees are
Aberdeen Manny, a.k.a. Duncan Dallas, Bruce Fumey, Lauren Hay, and Shane Strachan. And to present the award, please welcome to the stage Mr. Alan Bissett.
Thank you. I also think we should give our thanks to one of the unsung heroes of the night, a person whose name I don't even know, but whoever came up with this lighting concept is beautiful. I keep expecting Pink Floyd to come on stage. Brilliant. I should also point out that the after party is in Callum's bar, because I could feel everybody else thinking, like, who's this Callum? Where's his flat? What are the dimensions? It's on the high street, 2 minutes away, Callum's bar. So I feel quite fortunate to have come of age a generation that took Scots for granted. When I was 18 years old, a novel called Trainspotting came out, and absolutely everybody read it. Everybody. And then the year after that, James Kelvin won the Booker Prize, much to the consternation of the British establishment. And James Kelvin stood up and made a speech in which he said, "My people and my language have a right to exist." And we were like, fucking bang on. And then the year after that, Braveheart came out and was in every cinema across the globe and won Best Picture at the Oscars. And then the year after that, Trainspotting the movie came out. So we thought all the arguments had been won. Like it was actually just the most natural thing in the world to write in Scots. And then you realise, oh, every generation has to make the arguments again. It's not been won. And here we all are. I've been reading this novel called Poor Things by Alistair Gray in advance of the Hollywood movie coming out. Emma Stone, Mark Ruffalo, Willem Dafoe. It's already won Best Picture at the Venice Film Festival. This is going to be in contention for the Oscars. And it's a Hollywood feature film based on a novel by possibly the best Scottish novelist of all time. That doesn't happen very often. You know what I mean? We should appreciate that. So I've been reading the book again, and I came across this line that said, and it was actually talking about Russia, but it applies to every people across the globe, including Warren. And it says, someone who is disconnected from the folk language and stories and songs of their people is only half a person. So here's to our people. No, the people. That is an important distinction. But everybody has the right to be a people. So, the winner of the Media Person of the Year is Lauren Hay.
I say with trepidation, we should hear a video for Lauren Hay. Hey!
Raise your hand if you were I being told to speak properly as a bairn. My TEDx talk was for all you rebels for didn't listen to those telling offs. Instead, you continue to celebrate and spread your mother tongue. I am gutted I can't be there the night, but I am fair ticket to have won Scots Media Person of the Year. Massive, massive bosies and congratulations to all the winners tonight. Please hey a drum on my behalf, and I can't wait to see all the photos and hear all about it. Thank you.
And please welcome back to the stage your Scots Screever for the National Library and this year's Scots champion, Shane Strachan.
Right, so our nae bairns, right? If it is, cover your lugs for this first poem that is part of a series of poems about Aberdeen's messed up relationship with Island Gas. It's bad romance with Island Gas, and it's called Dreepin'. You have one new message. Message received, 14th September, 1969. Hello, sexy. It's me, your North Sea sugar daddy. Wheat, sweet and fiery, God's gift to modernity. Ain't you've wined and dined her, just leave your wife behind. Flee to your man-made island and dive in deep beneath. Get yourself siping wheat, seeping, pump them pipelines, dreeping.
Ooh, it was love at first sight when you drilled me down at the bottom of the deep blue sea. Unleash this genie's tie-dye rainbow slick with thick viscous liquid. Me. You watched me in dress, witnessed time decompress, heated, treated, refined, oh yes. Now I'm here, dinna stress. Just gie your whip a crack, sit back and relax and let this wheat dream licht up Aberdeen like a deus ex machina, a god for the machine, saving the granite city for another tragic scene. But mine and had your wish about them little spills and leaks. It's really best we keep out between you and me if you want me to I be your fossil fantasy. A scene is about one of my heroes, Bill Gibb. I was a fashion designer for Fraserburgh, for the Broch, where I grew up. And this is actually a quite new poem that will be part of my poetry collection coming out next year called Dwams, coming out in March. And this is reflecting back on the research process I did for a project called the Bill Gibb Line that was celebrating his fashions and his heritage and the fact he came from far away fae. And it's called Just Another Job. At the drop of a hat, I would be off the tractor and into the house sketching. I love my family, and I love Scotland, but I had this feeling I was biding my time for something, so I wanted to get away. Yet I don't regard my life today as a terrific contrast to farm life. It's just another job, Bill says. Picturesque, famed fashion designer Gibb catered out to the mare at Mad when we to help sell his father's livestock. Their waists chalked up on the board a hin an auctioneer bawling, 800 kilos, some coup. As an Aberdeen Angus gings round the ring for Rosa Manis with rosy chicks, flat caps and tweed jackets watch, a cairn of their hands making bids for this jet black beauty, her dark fur glistering a bean meaty ribs. But these models are mere contour-mashes than your Twiggies or Bianca Jaggers. Tucked into this reed-coated heel and coo, her fluffy facey looking awa in a sloom, as a pile of steaming sharn skitters out onto the fleer. A young chiel is quick to cover the slick wi' hand face of sawdust, as the auctioneer's hammer falls down. Wi' a skelpit doup, she heads out the rope to join the queue for the slaughterhouse. Now it's time for the star of the show. This bull's over 1,100 kilos. It charges round the ring and the farmers look back for the rail, as horns sleesh the air abeen their heads. Nae woolen matadors here flapping maletas to inflame the fashion of this grunting beast as it height her stiters about the place where the bids are made. Fan it's sold! Off it gings through the gate, new worth its weight in sperm, beans and mate. And with that, Billy is back on the train, heading up north to hame again. Billy's sister pints at the framed picture hung up proudly in her upstairs lobby. An exclusive design for Daily Mirror by Bill Gibb Couture. It's a watercolour, a reed-heated quine with a silk robe slipping off her shoulder, flowing down to her ankles in mint green and rosy pink pleats, and golden sandals strap it to her feet. I'd say, Billy, the sheen look like Coo's hoofs, and he would just laugh at me. But did he? For the shape and line, you see what she means. Skinny me linky legs teeter on wedges that would mark you mince about like a Sue, if you'd nae a Coo's poise and firmity. Oh, Billy was just an ordinary man, and a man that was extraordinary. And as we're coming towards the end of the night, this is a poem about endings, and it's inspired by my grandma and granda owned a pub in Peterhead, a fisherman's pub, that was basically mainly alcoholic former fishermen that kept it going until it shut. And I was like 7, 8 years old, gone round dichting all the ashtrays clean, illegally probably. And it's also, this is inspired by a picture in Aberdeen Royal Infirmary that's based on a pub that's long gone in Aberdeen called the Snug Bar. Linger on at Cobalt Corner for James and Virginia Street meet. You might hear the clink o' glace, a smoker's rasp, the soft scuff o' ashtrays dichted clean, the whine of the foamy glace washing machine as its coarse bristles furl brick green. Listen for poon coins rattling down the bandit as barmaids shout through the cellar hatch, the till pings stop it foo. Hear the repeated whack o' darts puncturing holes o'er the wa, the urinals spluttering waterfa, the man who's mumbling at the bar. Och, nu there's only revving cars and I scurries lonely, ca, ca. I've been this empty car park far, the snug bar ain't stood. As void, atween fancy flats for folk hide inside, deaf to the last order's bell chime, in the drink up, it's hame time. Thank you.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Taylor, it's our final award.
I can't believe it. I'm having the best time tonight.
I can. We're having a braw time up here, and we're up to our final award, and it is for Scots Writer o' the Year, sponsored by the National Library of Scotland. Is there anybody in for the National Library of Scotland tonight? That's fine. I'm just checking. They're getting that much praise for getting Shane as the Scots Screever and for nominating this award, but your nominees for Scots Writer of the Year are...
Alan Miller.
It's fine. She really can't read. Alan Bissett, Alan Miller, James Robertson, Maureen Simpson, Rona Munro. Oh, bless. We give it a shot at the end, eh?
We tried.
And the winner, a Scots Writer of the Year 2023, is Rona Munro. I loved it. Rona is touring the United States of America the new. So she has an excuse to no be here. Not like the other, he's like, oh, I couldn't get down for Aberdeen, so far for me. But no, Rona has sent us a video for someplace in the USA.
Hello everyone, I'm sorry I can't be with you all the night, but I am chuffed and delighted to be honoured with this award. The Scots Lead has been such an important part of my work for some of my earliest plays like The Maidenstain, through working with actress Fiona Knowles and The Misfits and the James plays, and especially the most recent one, James IV, Queen of the Ficht. And I hope that one marks clear that Scots was our lead through history and the lead of royalty and commoner alike. And I also tried to show that we in our lead grew and changed and still grow and changed with all the mony folk and voices that come and claim the Scots tongue as their own. It is a living lead and a delight to all that can use it to write or sing or make tales. I tried to use a Scottish voice in much of my work, and there's been times when I've maybe been feared that I'm not doing it right, and that I might annoy they that ken better than I do. It's history and form, and it would might be lost if no respected. So that's why this is a fairly to me, that folk have voted me good enough to hold this award this year. It really means the world, and I'm just sorry I can't be with you all and share my appreciation. But thank you so much and have a wonderful night.
That's a for us, so thank you so much for having us as your hosts. Let's hear it Ensmere for the other fantastic nominees of the night.
Smashing, genuinely smashing. Strang nominees. And let's hear it again for the winners.
Thanks to Simon Thumeyer and Hands Up for Trad for organising, Creative Scotland for giving us the funding to do this again, and Renfrewshire Council for being so happy to hear us along.
Aye, let's hear it. Thank you to the Hoose Band, who have been amazing. Let's hear it again for the Provost and the Cultural Curator. Aye, for you in the front, absolutely smashing. And let's hear it all for yourselves. What a night we've had together. Callum's Bar will see you in. And let's hear it one more time for the Iona Fife Trio. Thank you.
This one is called The Called, and I forgot to mention earlier that Baith Love Story in The Called was actually part of the Scots Language Centre Scots Work project, or Scots Works projects that ran in 2021, where the Scots Language Centre supported and helped many creatives, many scrivers to create new bodies of work. And for me, it was combining Taylor Swift with Scots. But I also got out my way to write the most cheesiest pop song ever. And it got played on radio too, which is cool. But they unfortunately titled it the programme When Folk Goes Pop. So I don't know if I ruffled feathers there, but oh well. So thank you so much for hearing me. Huge thanks to Simon Thumeyer. Thanks to Abdi here. Yeah, give another round of applause. That's a bit of a banger, so get on your feet and get some crack. But you know when, I'll tell you when, right? Because I ken that you've had loads of Prosecco. I ken that. Okay.
This land we walk on is grabbing old. This land we walk on, a truth it's told. Fan did we let it come to this? Fan did we let it gang amiss? Take me back to the summertime when you held me in your arms. Never thought we'd do me harm. I hate sick a lot to learn. Take me back when we felt so free, when you thought I was your best. Now I'm spearing at the rest, for you left me in the cold outside. Give it up for Ewan McLaughlin.